Sugar don't go on grits. Oh, sugar don't go on grits.
On this episode of Another Act, I talk with Anthony Hamilton about his new documentary, Making New Music, and he answers a very controversial question about, well, grits. So let's start here. In this new documentary on All Black, you're tapping into a level of vulnerability that feels very new. Take me back to what made you comfortable enough to share the way that you did.
I've always felt like my life, it was mine, to be proud of it, to be proud of the parts that stung, to be part of the ones that made me smile and be happy. I think we become who we are when we allow, life to texture us in a certain way and just embrace it. It made me the singer I am, the father I am, and just the man that I am. So I don't have any, I'm not ashamed of it.
Yeah.
So therefore it allows me to be more comfortable speaking about it and diving back into it.
It almost feels a little silly in some ways, asking a singer to talk about how they're able to tap into their vulnerability, especially a singer like yourself, because I feel like you've made a career of doing that. In most cases, we see musicians really putting their life to music. But I think the way that you're vulnerable in this documentary comes across, significantly different. Did that vulnerability from the documentary play into the album that you dropped in 2021? Did that make you tap into that even more so?
I think I've been tapped in since Charlene, and coming from where I'm from, like back in 2000, 2003, I think when I got my first heartbreak, real grown-up heartbreak, I think it's when you learn to, there's a whole nother layer of unhappiness, and there's a whole nother layer of joy once you get through that happiness. So that allowed me to, to have the scale of happiness and unhappiness and all in between. I know what it feels like because I had to take myself from here all the way back to happy, and all the stops in between. I remember those too. So it started way back.
Where were you in life really when you were first approached about doing this documentary?
Just coming through COVID and just being grateful and living in a deeper gratitude. I was in a place of peace. Had a lot of peace. I had COVID, hospitalized for two weeks. And then coming through that, you just learn that each day is a blessing. Everything I have to add, to give, it's a blessing. And just having healthy kids and coming through it and being healthy, just standing in gratitude, living in gratitude.
Living in gratitude. I love that, especially in the time that we all find ourselves in, where it's a struggle, I think, sometimes to find it, especially in a global health pandemic. That's inspiring to hear that you found that. Where did you, how did you tap into that? Did you do something differently to kind of purposefully find, these moments of happiness and gratitude?
I think just allowing yourself to just to be, and knowing that it's going to be okay. Just as long as you're making the steps and doing the work each day to just, be a good person, be a good father. If you're a musician, be a better musician. I think those are the steps that you take, and you allow God to bless that. I think you just plant good seed and watch it grow, watch it bloom.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Take me back to the recording sessions of this album that you dropped in 2021. Where were you finding inspiration for that album?
There was a few different inspirations for this album. At first, to service my fans and give them something that felt good and felt familiar. And then, the pandemic and all that stuff came, and then the racial injustice, all that stuff surfaced. So I became angry, and I wanted to speak about how it feels to be Black, how it feels to be a Black father. and the fear and the pain and the anger and all that stuff that you go through. And then as things started to turn around and I saw a few things starting to shape up and work in our favor, I let up a little bit on the anger, and I began to want to speak about love and just instill in people how amazing Black love can be, how beautiful it is, and how it's impacted so many lives. Just our flyness, who we are as people. I think I wanted to showcase that.
Yeah.
So love is the new black. You know, everybody wants to have that new black jacket, that new black car. But let love be priority. And I wanted people to know that, you know, we can do it as a people, as an individual. And just live in the moment each day on purpose and be sexy about it.
You always
You
gotta
know?
be sexy about it now.
You got to, man. You got to be sexy about it. If you're going to the fridge, slide your feet a certain way. Be sexy about it. I'm about to get, you know? You got to do it.
I love that. You know, throughout the doc, you make it very well known that music was always a priority, a love, and truly a part of you. What was it about music and singing that really resonates with you? Why was that the particular creative outlet that you found yourself gravitating towards?
I think it's long before I even knew I had it. It was in there. I think it's just it's a spiritual connection. I think there's it's something that was instilled in me. I think the creator knew, okay, this guy here, this is going to be my musician. This is going to be my singer. He's going to touch people this way. And I think it started long before I could even identify it. But as I grew and paid attention to what was pulling me, it was music. And I began to pay attention to it and listen. I probably listened to it a lot different than most people. Probably a little more in depth. The instruments, I would listen to the harp, the violin, the cello, whatever it would be. The voices sounded different. And I just fell deeper and deeper in love. And I knew, like, if I disconnect with this, I probably wouldn't be as peaceful and as settled spiritually. And yeah, so I continued that journey to make sure that I never had to part with it.
What was the first song that really sparked your love for music? Do you remember?
I think it was Ben, Michael Jackson's Ben.
Yeah.
That song stands out to me. And it was just such a sweet song, and his voice was really, Ben, da, 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 da. It was just in there. There was something about that tone. And every time I hear that, you know, back then we had the little foam on the speakers you can lay on it.
Yeah.
Or if you had the big component set with the velvet speakers on it, you could lean up against it. And I would just listen to it from you know, that close. And I don't know, something about his voice and the story he was telling. It didn't seem like a childlike story. It seemed like it was a child stuck in a grown-up world. And so I was intrigued by how he was existing in that. And still, I felt like he was still young, but I don't know, this is a weird combination of things in that song, but that's one of the songs.
No, you know, that's such a complex kind of thought, I think, to have as a young person. Did that really shape, you know, who you became as a songwriter yourself? Because your music also gives you that same kind of storytelling element too, that in a lot of cases feels wiser beyond the years, probably the person that's listening to it. But tell me about, you know, your particular journey as a songwriter too.
Songwriting was something that I never really knew. I never really even thought about it early on. I don't know. I just felt like a song would probably magically appear. I was like, there's a million songs in the world. Clearly they could be mine. And then I took a stab at it probably, I'd say about 12 years old. And I wrote it. I had the verse, the hook, and a little bridge. And I was like, man, no one really taught me that. I think just hearing songs, I kind of felt like, okay, if I could tell a little something about what I'm wanting to say and express it in a way, then I could say something in the hook that would kind of tie it all in.
Yeah.
And then the bridge would give me a way to have a bigger feeling. And that's how I kind of put it together. So I wrote a song called Waiting for You. I don't know who I was waiting on. I was so young, I don't know who maybe I was waiting on the school bus. I don't know, but it came out good. It was my first song and it came out good.
Yeah. You know, I want to stay there with your childhood for a little bit, because this was new information for me, and I would imagine for your fans too, because you talk so much about your childhood in this documentary and being there for your siblings and your mother, and then later being adopted. Why was it important for you to share this particular part of your story at this point in your career, at this point in your life?
Because I think our stories, they help others. They help other people see that what you're experiencing or what you have experienced, it wasn't just you, and it wasn't a punishment. We've all had some things we had to overcome and some things we had to live through or heal through. And I think it's important to show people that we are pretty much a lot alike in so many ways. So don't be so hard on yourself. It's not like I said, it's not a punishment, but it's an opportunity to share in the likeness in the walks of life that so many of us have. And I think being open and transparent, people find a sense of security in that, and bravery. I think it can allow some people to feel brave. It's like, you know what, if he made it through all that, then I can put on my big boy boots and walk through it as well.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. You know, for the OG Anthony Hamilton fans, and my producer is one of them. She actually shared a story about how she was probably the youngest person at an Anthony Hamilton concert some years ago. But they have really come to know and love you know, your voice and this timelessness that you have. It can be recognized from anywhere. But you know, you also have had times where you wanted to pursue a different sound. How have you navigated those waters of chasing something new while still being loyal to those who fell in love with that original voice that they first heard?
You know, I have a slight bit of an advantage, you know, because I get a lot of rap placements. I just did a song with Dave East. I just did a hook with Kodak Black. So we'll see what happens with those, you know, because we always create. Sometimes it comes out, sometimes it doesn't. So I think the hip hop community has allowed me to be more diverse and kind of teeter in a different genre and play around with like some of the newer sounds. And I think if you give your fans enough Anthony Hamilton, raw Anthony Hamilton, if you give them at least 4 good ones, then they'll leave you alone for about 3 songs, and you can kind of blend a little bit of the new and the old. But you know, it's challenging at times because you know I still feel young at heart and creative, and I like a lot of the newer sounds. I like some of the effects on the vocals because I'm a hip hop head, so I know certain things you can do in hip hop, and sometimes you can't really do as much in R&B. So when you're both, you tend to want to go there. But when you have a solid fan base, you don't want to leave them starving because they've been with you so long. So I have a loyalty to that. But they better come on and get on this internet and start downloading. Well, I'm about to do a whole rap album. Cause daddy gotta eat. Give you some new shoes, baby. These shoes. Y'all better learn how to get the internet. You better learn how to use that iPhone, Anthony Hamilton fan. I'm gonna switch it up on you. You're gonna be like, man, he did a whole album with a gold chain and a gold tooth. You try it if you want to. See what I do. You gonna be playing old albums because I'm gonna have to do it.
No. You come out with 4 chains. You might come out with 4 chains. You know, you mentioned Charlene earlier, and I immediately wanted to light a candle and some incense because to me, you know, it puts me in a particular vibe, and that is probably one of the songs I would say definitively, you know, reminds me of Anthony Hamilton. But if I had to ask Anthony Hamilton to pick one song or one album that you would love to be most known for, which would it be and why?
You said song or album, or song and album?
Song or album, yeah.
I think Coming From Where I'm From kind of sums up a little bit of everything. It's grungy, it's country, it's down home, it's strong, it's gritty, and it's the beginning of the walk of a man who really believed in his steps. And I think that song kind of represents my life in a way. You know, the things I've seen and been through, and the things I didn't have. But it all makes it better for me to even just to see where I was then and where I am now, the relationship with my father, me as a father now. It has so much in it. That song is one of the ones that it's kind of my once upon a time, you know?
Yeah. No, I love that. And I've loved hearing and learning more about your story and your journey. As you kind of think about it, especially because you've laid it out for us in such a nice, albeit entertaining way, even though I know not all parts were entertaining for you as you were experiencing them and going through them. What would Anthony Hamilton in 2022 love to tell Anthony Hamilton, the teenager?
Anthony Hamilton in 2022 would love to tell the teenager. Protect yourself, protect your innocence a lot longer. You know, because there's spirits that come after you sexually, emotionally, spiritually. And I was pretty strong, pretty set in a lot of ways, but I was curious too, a little earlier than I think. And I think those battles, sometimes they can follow you until you realize that they're the battles. So I would tell him to just guard yourself even tighter.
Those are some wise words. I love that. What's next for you, Anthony?
Well, you know, I'm on a journey of just expressing myself through not only just music, but through food and through art. So I have a thing called Hamilton Corner Store. I have my grits, really healthy, no preservative grits, and I package them up every day. You can go to hamiltoncornerstore.com and order your grits, and I package them up and send them to you. I'm gonna have cornbread, hot sauces, seasonings, and eventually my own grocery stores throughout the world. So something I'm really passionate about, making sure that our people get first dibs on fresh food, not picked over in secondhand food. And there's a lot of food deserts out in the urban communities where they only have like corner stores. This corner store is going to have more to offer, but still with the down home feeling. So get those grits, man. I'm telling you, I got the best grits. Quaker ain't got nothing on me.
I'm about to come over right now. And this is the important question, albeit it's probably going to be controversial. Sugar or salt in your grits? How do you eat them?
Sugar don't go on grits. Oh, sugar don't go on grits. Sugar don't go on grits. Sugar don't go on grits. If I wake up in the morning and that sugar, I might just have an all-out feel. Oh, salt and butter, go on my grits. Ooh. Yeah. Sugar.
I hope you won't think less of me, because I definitely sprinkle sugar on my grits. I know. Anthony Hamilton, it was so great talking to you today. Thank you so much for doing it.
Thank you. I appreciate you guys. And look out for my own label, artist by the name of JX Hines, signed to my music box. And we're excited to share some more music with you guys. Thank you. I appreciate you so very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Miss Kelly.
Thank you.
All right. Peace.
Bye.